As you guys know, in the span of a week, the UK has a new monarch. Apparently, this guy's the king. I don't remember voting for him. And we also have a new prime minister. Okay? So Charles III and Liz Truss. Queen Elizabeth II is gone, and Bojo is gone. And now Liz Truss has said that she is considering moving the British embassy to Jerusalem, right? Which is the equivalent of basically taking the UN charter, ripping it up, slapping Syria in the face, Palestine in the face, and so on and so on. Why is this a big issue? The only person that's ever done that is Donald Trump, right? I made a video on this channel, and I think the title is something like Donald Trump was a huge gift to Israel. It's true. He did so many things for them, right? He got Bahrain and the UAE to normalize ties. He moved the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem. He recognized Israeli occupation of Syria's Golan Heights, right? He basically said that, yeah, this huge chunk of valuable land that has water and snow and oil, it's not Syrian anymore, like the whole world agrees. No, it's yours. It's Israel's, right? And I highlight this again. Why? Because right now you have these referendums in Ukraine where everyone is yelling that it's illegal and Russia's going to annex them illegally. They didn't seem to give a crap when Israel annexed the Syrian Golan Heights. They still don't give a crap. But anyway, one of the things Donald Trump did is he moved the embassy, and now she wants to do it, right? So this is a post from the current caretaker Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid. It's in Hebrew. I translated it with Google. Obviously, I didn't need to because there are many articles about this. He's just thanking her for considering this move. And there's an official statement from number 10 from Downing Street where they say the Prime Minister informed Prime Minister Lapid, so the Israeli, about her review of the current location of the British embassy in Israel. The Prime Minister welcomed progress on a new free trade agreement. God, I'll get to that in a second. But I find this hilarious because they made Brexit out to be like some amazing venture that, once the UK is out of the EU, it doesn't need to trade with the EU. It doesn't need its biggest trading partner. It can go and make free trade deals with Australia. And now Israel, apparently. What are they going to export? Stolen hummus made on illegal settlements? Apartheid? Oh, no, I remember we exported that there. So they also mention at the bottom the close ties between British and Israeli people. Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. Basically, Britain and France, they carved up the Middle East. They all took a chunk of it. The British took Palestine, and then in 1917, there's this Balfour Declaration from the British government where they're saying that we're going to give the Jews a homeland in Palestine, as if it's theirs to give away, right? And then these two things that happened in 1916, 1917, they basically lay the groundwork for Israel, right? And the idea, it's really ironic to me because actually the whole idea behind it is racist from the British standpoint. They basically did not want Jews in Britain, and so their idea of getting rid of them was to give them Palestine. Like and then they call Palestinians anti-Semitic. I mean, this is incredible to me. Liz Truss, the new prime minister, her idol is Margaret Thatcher, right? And Margaret Thatcher was the first British prime minister to actually meet with the Israelis. And she met not only with the Israelis, but one of the people who was responsible for bombing the King David Hotel in Jerusalem, where they killed a dozen plus British officers, right? They basically bombed the headquarters of the British forces there. And it's straight up terrorism, right? And she went and met with them. I mean, I'm just stunned. I'm really stunned. So this whole relationship is disgusting. It's basically Britain giving away land that doesn't belong to it to the Israelis, and the Israelis, remember, they were assassinating before there was Israel. They had the Haganah, Hashomir. These were like the Zionist paramilitary groups. They were assassinating non-Zionist Jews. So if you're Jewish but you don't support Israel, they'll go and kill you. If you're British, they'll kill you too. If you're Arab, they'll kill you too. This whole like mentality of assassinating people you don't like, it's to this day they still do it, right? It's unparalleled, I would say, really. I mean, obviously, the CIA, MI6 don't have a shortage of assassinations, but the Israelis, when they killed someone in Dubai, They even used British passports. They forged passports of their own allies. So when I see these close ties, I mean, I'm just like, what close ties? Which ones? Her moving the embassy to Jerusalem, let me tell you why this is so egregious, is because the UN said that Jerusalem should be corpus separatum, which is Latin for separate body. So it's not capital of Israel, it's not capital of Palestine, it's nobody's. Because, you know, the Muslims, the Christians, the Jews, for them, Jerusalem is an important city for all three of those religions. So, you know, it's for everybody. It's going to have a special status of being a separate body and a holy city and so on. And of course, the Israelis illegally annexed it, right? Speaking of illegal annexations, they violated multiple United Nations Security Council resolutions, specifically telling them that this annexation is null and void. Those are the exact words. And the United Kingdom, being a permanent member on the United Nations Security Council, is one of the countries that agreed to this and is a founding member of the United Nations. So I'm really puzzled how the UK and the US, they come out and say, that's illegal. You cannot have Jerusalem. And now, you know, a couple decades later, they're suddenly changing their mind because international law doesn't matter. They don't care about international law. They don't care about their own fucking statements. They just care about whatever is good today, whatever they feel like today, right? That's why you pay attention. They never say international law. They say international order, whatever that means. And so this is basically, you know, it's another slap in the face for the Palestinians. The Palestinians have been denied their land. They're denied their human rights. You can pick any NGO that you like, and they will all tell you that Israel is apartheid, and they treat Palestinians like they're not even human beings. And this is against what the UN said. And remember, the Israelis, what do they tell you? They say, well, Israel has a right to exist because the partition plan was approved by the UN. Yeah, guess what? The partition plan also says that Jerusalem is a separate body, and you didn't mind annexing it. You see how they play these games, right? They just bend the law as they see fit. And the Palestinians get nothing. They're still under occupation. Syria is still under occupation. And then they go and tell you, oh, look what's happening. The Russians are illegally annexing Ukraine. They're violating international law. Yeah, what about this? What about this?